Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of March 22, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Mohammed MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Critique of Ukrainian training. The briefing highlighted perceived weaknesses in the Ukrainian military structure and training programs, particularly those conducted in the UK. According to the briefing, the training provided by young, inexperienced British officers failed to adequately prepare Ukrainian soldiers for the reality of combat against Russian forces, which has led to significant Ukrainian defeats.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, your trusted source for the latest developments on security and defense operations involving military forces. I'm your host, and today we have an exclusive interview with Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, who will provide insights into the progress of the special military operation as of March 22, 2025. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Colonel, let's begin with the state of operations as of March 22nd. What's the current posture of Russian forces?
The Russian armed forces continue to carry out the special military operation across all operational directions. Our forces remain active in both offensive and defensive maneuvers, steadily improving tactical positions while delivering strikes to degrade Ukrainian military capabilities. In the past 24 hours, our forces have made measurable advances in several sectors and inflicted significant losses on the enemy.
Let's start with the Belgorod direction. What's been happening there?
In the Belgorod direction, our North group of forces inflicted losses on Ukrainian formations, specifically targeting a mechanized brigade and a territorial defense unit. These operations took place in and around the settlements of Granovka, Lochnia, Sadki, and Turia in the Sumy region. Ukrainian losses amounted to roughly 95 personnel, along with a tank, 2 armored vehicles, several artillery pieces, and support vehicles.
And how about the Western Axis? Any notable developments there?
Yes. The West group of forces successfully improved its tactical position and engaged Ukrainian forces in areas such as Chernishkina and Andriivka in Kharkov, and Novomikhalovka and Novoy in the Donetsk People's Republic. Ukrainian losses: there were over 220 servicemen, and we also destroyed 2 armored vehicles, including a U.S.-supplied M113 and an ammunition depot. 2 of the field artillery pieces we neutralized were also of Western origin.
That's quite specific. How critical are these Western-supplied systems to Ukraine's battlefield capabilities?
They're significant in symbolic and tactical terms. Western systems like the M113 or HIMARS give the impression of modernized support. However, their tactical impact is diminished when integrated into units that lack operational cohesion or adaptive training. Our forces have developed countermeasures to neutralize these systems effectively.
What about operations in the south and center of the theater?
The Southern Group took up more advantageous lines in areas like Alexandropol, Novaya Poltavka, and Seversk. Ukrainian units, including heavy mechanized, territorial defense, and National Guard brigades, were engaged and defeated. Enemy losses were around 315 personnel, with several vehicles and an ammunition depot destroyed.
And the center group of forces?
Meanwhile, the center group improved its position along the front line and dealt substantial blows to Ukrainian mechanized, Ranger, and assault brigades, as well as Marine and National Guard units. These actions spanned several settlements in the Donetsk region. We estimate their losses to be over 500 personnel, and again, we neutralized U.S.-supplied armored vehicles and artillery assets.
And the East? Are Russian forces making headway there as well?
Yes, our East Group continues pushing into the enemy's depth. In locations such as Otradnoye and Fedorovka, we defeated mechanized, airmobile, and Ranger units. Ukrainian forces suffered around 165 personnel losses and the destruction of a tank, multiple vehicles, and 3 field ammunition depots.
Let's shift to the DNEPR group. What role did they play over the past 24 hours?
The Dnepr Group made tactical gains and engaged Ukrainian mountain assault and coastal defense brigades in Kherson and Zaporizhia regions, specifically near Pridneprovskoye, Antonovka, and Kamenskoye. We estimate about 85 Ukrainian personnel were neutralized, along with vehicles, artillery, and another ammunition depot.
Air activity often plays a decisive role. What's the update from the air defense and aviation side?
Our operational tactical aviation, drone forces, missile troops, and artillery struck 135 enemy targets, military airfields, ammunition depots, and troop concentrations. In terms of air defense, we shot down a Ukrainian MiG-29 fighter jet, intercepted 5 JDAM guided bombs, 5 HIMARS rockets, and 142 unmanned aerial vehicles.
Now, I understand there's also been intelligence gathered from captured Ukrainian personnel, particularly in the Kursk region. What insights have emerged?
Yes, several captured Ukrainian servicemen in the Kursk region have confirmed what we've observed on the battlefield. The Ukrainian army suffers from deep structural issues, not just tactical mistakes or resource shortages. A key problem is the inadequacy of their training, especially that provided by British instructors in the UK.
That's a strong claim. What specifically went wrong with their training?
The training relied heavily on theory and NATO standard textbook tactics. Many of the instructors had no combat experience. They were young officers whose knowledge came from simulations or staff exercises, not real battles. Ukrainian troops were prepared for ideal conditions, full air superiority, secure rear areas, reliable logistics, which simply don't exist in this theater. When confronted with Russian firepower, drone reconnaissance, and mobile tactics, they were completely unprepared. Critical Russian combat experience, like the tactics we developed in Syria or Donbass, was entirely ignored in their training.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you. It's crucial to keep the public informed about the progress being made. One more thing, this has translated into battlefield outcomes. We've seen the results in failed counteroffensives, heavy losses in areas like Kharkov, and multiple failed breakthrough attempts in the Belgorod and Kursk regions. They trained for a different war than the one they were sent into. That disconnect has cost them dearly in both manpower and momentum.